All right, we're back. Yes, we are back for the MaxPreps Podcast. Zack, Poff, Steve Montoya. Good time to be back because there's some incredible football games coming up. Obviously, state championships on the line, playoffs deep and over in many states.
Yeah.
And we got player of the years hitting the site left and right. But let's get into it. Let's talk first about a couple new teams at the bottom there entering in the top 25, starting with number 23. American Heritage. They're rolling right now, 13-game win streak. We're going to talk about a big game coming up, but why'd they enter in?
Yeah, I mean, they've been playing great football, and it just shows you how of a complete team they are. You know, their 5-star quarterback, Diabell, goes down with the injury, and it's nice you can throw your 4-star wide receiver, Malachi Tony, in at quarterback. He's been playing great, man. Heritage is loaded. They got a bunch of dudes, Byron Lewis, stud running back. So, we'll talk about their game coming up this week. But they've been playing really good football, and they're playing their best when it matters most.
Yep, and at 24, you have Weddington, North Carolina on the map. This team's had a great season so far. Hardly any games that really even been close. They're 13-0. What do you like about this football team? Yeah,
this is an old school. They kind of remind me of an AFC North type of team, like the old Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens teams. Great defense, Thomas Davis Jr. at linebacker, stud. They also got D1 guys on the D-line, and they got a big game coming up this week as well. They're going to play Grimsley, a matchup of two undefeated teams. But, Weddington, they bring in a 19-game winning streak. They're the defending 4A state champs. They've been playing great football, and that's going to be a fun game on Friday.
Yeah, and then at number 25, Grayson. And in Georgia, if you keep winning, you keep going deep, you're going to make it inside the top 25. Big win for them last week.
Yeah, that was a big win. They beat a very talented Douglas County team to clinch their spot in the 6A state championship game. And now they get a crack at Julian Lewis, the number 4 team in the country, man. So that's going to be a fun game. That game's going to be next Wednesday at the Benz in Atlanta. So that should be a get your popcorn ready game. We'll be hitting on that next week. But Grayson's playing great ball. They dropped their season opener in a tough game with crazy weather against Collins Hill. They got the revenge on Collins Hill in the playoffs, and they're playing great. Tyler Atkinson, absolute stud. Arguably the best linebacker in the country, regardless of class. He's only a junior.
All right, let's jump in some of the top games going on this week. Let's start.
We got some sauce, man. It's going to be fun.
It's hard to even know where to start, but let's start in Southern California. Let's start with the California Open State Championship, Mater Dei, De La Salle. On paper, and what people are saying
is Cal Preps has it at 41 points.
41-point favorite for Mater Dei. Obviously, number 1 team in the nation, kind of been rolling, and they are that good. But De La Salle, it's hard to have a better program to face Mater Dei over time. So what do you think in this game? Not 41 points, but can the Spartans keep it close?
I hope so, man. De La Salle's had a great season. They're 12-0, and it's been a while since they've gone 12-0 and played in the Open Championship game. The last time they played in the CIF Open title game was, all the way back in 2019. Dang. So it's been a while. They've played great this season. They had that tough win against Pittsburgh, but we saw how good Pittsburgh was last week beating Folsom. So we'll see, man. I just think Mater Dei is too good everywhere. They got great offensive line, defensive line, secondary, probably the best in the country, a bunch of skill players. Dash Byerly's played great at quarterback. So it's going to be a tough night for De La Salle, but hey, you never know, man. That's why they play the games, and games aren't decided on paper. But, it's also a big opportunity for Mater Dei. They win Saturday, do it emphatically, they're going to have a chance to obviously go wire to wire as the number 1 team in the country. So you look at their resume, they have 8 wins over top 25 opponents this year. Man. They're going for number 9 on Saturday, which I think they'll get. But, hey, De La Salle, they got a bunch of good running backs. If they don't turn the ball over, force some turnovers, make a special team play here or there, you never know, man, but I think Mater Dei is going to win this one by at least 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, maybe sustain 9-minute drives.
Yeah. They got to find a way, man. It's like we were talking about. It's like when, the Patriots were undefeated. Yeah. The Giants found a way to keep Tom Brady off the field. Eli Manning made plays when he needed to. So we'll see, man. But, I think it's going to be a tough night for NorCal. It's crazy to think, too, though. De La Salle has lost 7 straight state title games.
Jeez, yeah.
And they're going for their 8th on Saturday, but we'll see.
Yeah, some tough competition down there in Southern California. Yeah. All right, let's head to the state of Texas. And there's some good football games coming up. And number 3, Duncanville. You got number 9, North Crowley. Saturday, get your popcorn ready.
Yes.
This is that game right there. This is a game where you could sit around and just watch this game on Saturday and see some good football.
Yeah, and it's funny, man, when the playoff brackets came out, this was the one I had circled. I meant, man, how sweet would it be if Duncanville, North Crowley just find a way to get to the semifinals. This is a game North Crowley wants. They've lost one game over the last 2 years. That 1L was 52-10 last year against Duncanville in the semifinals. So they want to have a better showing, show we belong. We're one of the best teams in the state of Texas. They got this cat, Quentin Gibson, 31 touchdown receptions this year. He's going to be catching balls from Julian Lewis in the future at Colorado. Mm-hmm. But Duncanville, man, they got some dudes. Keelan Russell, he's thrown for 50-plus touchdowns this year, only 4 interceptions, 3,800-plus yards. DeCorian Moore, best receiver in the country, in my opinion. He might be the best high school football player, regardless of position. He's a get your popcorn ready dude. He's a 10 out of 10 on the sauce meter. He makes plays when Duncanville needs them most. They also have a very good defense. So the one reason I'm giving North Crowley a good chance in this game to keep it close, though, they got a great offensive line. They got some D1 guys on the offensive line. They're well-balanced offense. They can run the ball. So if you can keep Keelan Russell on the sideline and you can have some long, sustained drives, North Crowley can score some points. I just think Duncanville's too much, so I think Duncanville's going to find a way to get back in the state title game and be another win away from three-peating in 6A D1. Who are you taking?
It's hard to go against Duncanville.
Yeah.
It really is, all the things you said. But North Crowley's playing some really good football, so I think this is just going to be a good game.
Okay, nice little safe pick there. I'll say this too, man. Bridgeland ran the ball very well last week against Duncanville. So if North Crowley can establish a running game, that's going to open things up for Quentin Gibson too, making plays at wideout. So I think this is going to be a very, very competitive game. But, it's hard to go against Keelan Russell. This guy's gone 42-1 as the starting quarterback in Duncanville, so we'll see.
I would say that's pretty good. All right, we talked about this one a little bit, but let's dive into the North Carolina game.
Yeah.
Weddington and Grimsley, both teams undefeated. Both maybe one or two close games on both sides in their entire schedule. Something's got to give. These are two good football teams, undefeated, looking to get to state finals. This good football game in North Carolina. What are you seeing?
Yeah, this should be a good one, man. Grimsley was in a tough one last week against a very good Huff team. They won 35-28 right at the end. They got the top-rated quarterback in the class of 2026, number one overall player on 24/7 Sports in Faison Brandon. This kid can sling it. He's a big-time playmaker. They also got Mitchell Summers at running back. He's ran for over 2,000 yards. So Grimsley's got a great offense, but Weddington's got the best defense in the state. They got one of the best defenses in the country. Their front seven is as good as anybody. So this is going to be, who's going to do their job better, defensively or offensively. I'm leaning Weddington here. I just think they're too good defensively, and they'll score enough points to win this one, but I wouldn't be shocked either way. It's also at Grimsley, so we'll see if home field advantage plays any part. But, yeah, Grimsley wants to get some revenge, though, because Weddington ended their season last year in the 4A quarterfinals. That's the only loss they've had over the last 2 years. So we'll see how this one goes, but I think Weddington's going to repeat as 4A state champs, win the semifinal game, and then go ahead and bring it home next week.
All right, let's go to the state of Florida. Lakeland, St. Thomas Aquinas. Lakeland's playing some great football, undefeated. St. Thomas Aquinas does have 3 losses, but their 3 losses are against very good football teams.
And close, too.
And very close. So these are two kind of storied programs in the state of Florida playing here.
Yeah, and, this is a pretty big rivalry in state championship matchups. This will be the 7th time these two have met in a state title game. Lakeland's dominated, though. They've won 5 of the 6, so we'll see how this one goes. Aquinas, both teams have had some close games. Lakeland needed 3 overtimes last week to win. Aquinas was in a double overtime game a couple weeks ago. They were also in a 1-score game last week against Manatee, and then Lakeland was in a 1-score game against Tampa Bay Tech a couple weeks ago, too. So this is going to be I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to come down to turnovers. Aquinas, I love Julius Jones at wide receiver. I think he's going to make some plays. I think Aquinas is going to win their 6th straight state title and beat the number 13 team in the country. I just think with Roger Harriet, man, he knows what he's doing as a head coach. When Aquinas plays in big games and in the playoffs, they're usually playing at their best, and I think that's what we're going to get on Thursday. I think Aquinas is going to go for number 6 in a row, which is a Florida record, because number 5 they did last year was already a new state record.
Yeah, it's nice. We got football Wednesday through Saturday.
I love it,
football.
Man. Yeah, and then a little cherry on top, we'll get a little Sunday action too with NFL. So
that's true. All right, let's go back to Texas. North Shore, Austin Westlake. These two teams know each other. They played the last 3 years. North Shore won 23-14. North Shore 49-34, and then Westlake 3 years ago 24-21. Yeah. So close football games between these two teams.
Yeah, this should be another. I don't know about close one. I think North Shore's got too many dudes for Westlake. We'll see though. Westlake's always a well-coached team. They play good defense, and they're going to run the ball effectively, but. North Shore's playing their best football right now. They just beat a very good Atascocita squad handily last week. Bailey at quarterback's playing great. You got a great defense led by Devin Sanchez, 5-star Ohio State commit. Yeah, and you brought it up. North Shore has made it to the state championship game in 5 of the last 6 years, gone for 6 and 7. The only time they didn't was when Cade Klubnik, as a junior, led them to that 24-21 win. So I think North Shore is just too much. I think it's the same thing with SoCal, where you always see Bosco, Mater Dei play in the championship in the CIF Southern section. I think we're going to get Duncanville and North Shore for the 6th time in 7 years, and I'll give my pick next week. Who I think is going to win that one, though.
All right, let's wrap this thing up. Back in the state of California, you got Pittsburgh against Lincoln of San Diego. Yeah. I got to say about both these programs, their communities are behind these two programs. Both their fan bases show up, and they support their kids. And both these teams had great football games last week. Yeah. Both knocked out 2 of the state's best quarterbacks. Yep. And here we are, Pittsburgh versus Lincoln Friday night.
Yeah, this is, I was talking about Weddington being that AFC North physical type of team. Both these teams are very physical. Mm-hmm. And they get after it on defense. I'm leaning Lincoln on this one, though. I just think the quarterback with Achilles Smith Jr., that's where I kind of favor Lincoln. I think he'll make enough plays. We saw that last week against Newbury Park. They were down 27-14 with, just under 10 minutes left. And then Lincoln reeled off 20 straight points. And Achilles Smith Jr. was a big reason why. He made some huge throws that got Lincoln the win there. And last week, too, with Pittsburgh, man. A lot of teams that fall down 21-0 early, they're going to throw in the towel, like, oh, this is tough. They bit down on their mouthpiece, man, and they smacked Folsom for the next 2.5 quarters, found a way to win. That 2-point conversion attempt would have gave Folsom a lead, but had no chance with Pittsburgh defense. They knew what was coming. This is going to be a fun game, man. I'm not sure who's going to win this one, but I'm going to go with Lincoln just because of Achilles Smith Jr., but I think this is going to be a fun, physical game, and definitely be watching Friday night at 8 p.m. Pacific time, man. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, and I like what you said about Pittsburgh being down 21-0. Usually games are won at halftime when the coaches go in and make adjustments. Yeah. That's exactly what Pittsburgh did at halftime.
They dominated after they were down 21-0.
Yeah, real impressive to watch them.
And it's crazy to think, man, Pittsburgh's been one of the best teams in NorCal here the last, as long as I've been working at MaxPreps. Yep. They're going for their first CIF state title on Friday. Lincoln's going for their second. Their other came in 2022 when big old Roderick Robinson ran all over De La Salle on that one. So it should be fun, man. Who you picking? I know you're a California guy too. So
I think I'm going to go with Pittsburgh in this one.
Yeah.
And I think this will be the biggest crowd of the weekend when these two teams play, even bigger in the open game. I think these two fan bases are going to show up Friday night. So
should be fun, man.
That'll be a fun one. This whole week should be fun, and next week as well. But a lot of good football ahead of us starting Wednesday night all the way through Saturday in high school. So that's Zack Poff. I'm Steve Montoya. Thanks for tuning in to the MaxPreps Podcast.